Sure.
ACCUBATION.
Accubation. You know, acu is, they use short for like AccuWeather.
They do.
Like accurate weather. Is it anything to do with accuracy?
Nothing to do with accuracy.
Does it have anything to do with AccuWeather?
Nothing to do with AccuWeather.
Okay. Accubation. It's got to be something, it's something of a act of doing something. It's an act of doing something.
It is.
And you are performing an act.
Yes.
It is a human function.
Yes.
Is it primarily done on a human?
Well, I guess really most animals could do this.
They could do it, or somebody'd have to do it for them.
A lot of animals would need help with this.
Okay. Let me go one step further. If this was performed.
Well, a lot of animals could do this.
If this was performed.
Yes.
Would there be a happy ending?
Oh, I don't know.
Would the ending be happy?
It may not be.
Okay, so it's not a... Now, my guess is it's a medical term. It's a medical procedure.
No.
Of like cleansing a wound.
No,
or
it's nothing
doing
like that.
Something like that.
No, it's nothing medical, really.
It's not medical.
No.
Is it physical? Is it like it's not sexual?
No.
So let's get that right out of the way.
Right. Yes.
It is.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
Yeah. Is it anything to do with food?
Yes.
Is it something to do with regurgitating?
No.
Is it anything to do with the digesting food?
No.
But it has something to do with food.
Yes.
It's the act of swallowing food.
That's kind of part of it.
It's the act of choking on food.
That could result from this.
It's the act of trying to eat large food too big for your throat to swallow.
No.
Okay, what is it? I give up.
You give up?
I give up.
You don't want me to use it in a sentence?
Yeah, use it in a sentence. See if I can get it from that.
Accubation poses a choking risk.
Oh.
At least I would think it would.
Would it be laughing while you're trying to eat?
No.
Oh. It does pose a choking. It's when food gets caught in your throat.
No.
Removing food from stuck in your throat.
No.
I give up.
Accubation is the practice of eating or drinking while lying down.
Really?
Yes.
It's a practice?
Well, it's the practice,
So if I'm laying on the couch flat and I'm eating, say, a bologna sandwich.
You're accubating.
Awesome. I'll have to try that more often.
I was just saying, it poses a choking risk because if you're laying down flat on your back, eating and drinking, it seems like that.
Okay.
Things could end up in the wrong.
So it's kind of it's a not a medical term. It's a just a term.
Yeah, it's just a term.
Okay, we learned something new.
Yes.
Now we've been talking about low frequency noise, otherwise known as low frequency noise. It's known as infrasound, or it's got. There's several people call it several different things. Anyway, I was watching a YouTube video, and this one. The reason why this is all falling into paranormal. Of course, we've been saying, me and Dan have been saying, we believe EVPs are not EVPs, but they're just disembodied voices coming in at a lower frequency.
Right.
This may be how
that we can't hear them with our ears. But our sound recorders are picking up these.
Our
lower...
hypothesis is spirits are talking to us at a low frequency.
Right. They don't have the vocal cords and the power to create.
They're not pushing air across vocal cords. They can't. They're in a different plane. So what they're doing is they're creating a sound in a different way.
And however they're creating sound,
and it's coming through in a very low frequency,
which means lower energy. They cannot produce the high energy sound waves.
What got us started on this are the EVPs on our website, the ones from the United Way.
Because I found some software somewhere.
And you ran them all through it, and every single one of those came in below human hearing.
Right.
We don't remember exactly where they came in.
Or what software I even used.
Yeah, we lost it, but hey, we're human.
Yeah, it was a freeware.
It was many computers later.
Yes.
So this is where we're going with all this. We're trying to figure this out.
Because when we were at the United Way doing our investigation, we didn't hear a thing.
No, we have heard nothing. And the only reason why we got this, now I was not using a very technical recorder. I was using a cheap, that one.
It's a Sanyo
recorder. They're cheap recorders. And apparently these things are recording below 20 hertz.
Right. They're picking up waves below 20 hertz.
Right. Where the more expensive Tascam, I don't believe is.
Right, because...
Which would explain why I'm not getting as many EVPs with that recorder.
Right, because that is for musicians, and that is going to block out anything above or below human hearing.
Right.
Because if you're playing an instrument and singing into this thing, you're not going to want... You're only going to want to record what is within the range of human hearing.
So anyways, they... I was on another site. Well, let me talk about this guy. This guy was talking. He did a YouTube video, and I agree with what he said a little bit, but then I don't agree with everything he said. He was basically claiming that his theory or hypothesis is paranormal experiences, people experiencing paranormal feelings of dread and being scared, and like there's somebody in the room with them, and all this stuff is happening. He believes is that they're being pelted, or they're being in their environment there. They're experiencing this low frequency it could be from a factory down the road. It could be from an air conditioning unit. It could be from different things creating this low frequency, causing you to have these feelings.
It could be natural from the earth.
There's theories, or there's I don't know if there's theories, or if they're claiming that there are actual low frequency, military has created low frequency weapons. Well, they actually got that one they can blast you with.
Well, it's more of a microwave, I believe.
They got one that's a sound too.
Oh,
they have them that are sound.
Well, usually those are like.
Well, supposedly, according to this guy, or some of these articles I've been reading, there are some military weaponized. Low frequency weapons.
Well, because I know the military, and even like those, you watch that whaling show,
right?
And they shoot those really loud, high pitch
things at the people, yeah.
Because the high energy ones are the ones that are gonna like blast your eardrums
out. Well, anyways, Cornell. There's a website from Cornell University in New York, and they're talking about, mainly theirs was talking about elephants. How elephants use this low frequency infrasound to communicate with each other.
Right.
Well, what they said was kind of might work with us. This is something we got to play around with. And the question is, how can I hear a low frequency sound? Now, what they said was, if you think you've captured something, you can hear it by speeding up your recording by at least 3x, 3 times this normal speed.
Right.
So if you record something and you think you might have something on there, and you have a means of speeding that up,
which a lot of audio editing software does.
Can do. I think Audacity can speed up a recording.
I'm sure I can
by
figure
changing down the corner. There's a hertz that you change hertz and it'll play back higher speed.
Yeah.
Anyway, by doing that, you can supposedly these low frequency sounds. It changes the frequencies to a higher frequency and you can hear them. Okay. So
makes sense.
Yep, makes sense. And the other way is you can. They said sounds can be also represented visually by using a spectrogram, which is some kind of a sound graph.
Well, and that's what I used.
Usually, a lab would have that.
Well, that's the software that I used on our EVPs.
Was a spectrogram.
I inputted our EVPs into them, and I could visually see on a graph where they were falling in hertz.
Right. Now, this guy, the guy on the one thing that was complaining about the air conditioner making the noise, he played the sound through it looked like a sound editing device similar to Audacity.
Okay.
But then he injected a graphic equalizer. an electronic equalizer he could add into it.
Right.
And he could take that equalizer and boost the frequency. And as he boosted that frequency up on that one segment where he said that sound was at, all of a sudden you could hear it going whoa, 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 whoa. As he brought it up, you could hear it. So that was kind of cool. Now this was all electronic. He brought this in digitally onto his laptop. You could see him doing it, pointing in. But somehow, you probably know what I'm talking about. You can bring a graphic equalizer in.
Right.
Okay. So if you know how to do that, you can also listen to your low frequency sounds. Okay. So, and that's where we're at with this. We're trying to find out if this is a good hypothesis, and we're gonna just.
Well, yeah. Right now, we're kind of in the process of doing the legwork and the research before we, now we need to use this method on an investigation.
Absolutely. We do not now. Remember how you were saying you were looking at some radio, some speakers and microphones, and they actually, if you look at the manufacturer, they will say they will not record, they will not capture sound below 20 hertz.
Right.
A lot of microphones will not capture sound below 20 hertz
because they are designed for, like, the microphones we're using right now to do this podcast
will not record below 20 hertz,
or at least they should not, because when you're recording this stuff right here is studio recording equipment.
Right.
For, music or podcasts or whatever. Well, when you're recording, especially music, you don't want to pick up things that the human ear can't hear because that's going to make a sound like a song.
Well,
sound
according
funky.
to them, they're saying a lot of your over-the-counter buying microphones are intentionally electronically designed to only pick up between 20 hertz and 20,000,
15,000 or 20,000,
whatever it is,
kilohertz. Right.
That's what they pick up because that's what we can hear, and that's all they need to pick up.
Well, again, like I said, if it starts picking up things above and below, you're going to be picking up sounds that are going to.
So, kind of what they're saying was, you need to find microphones that do not have that do not have that filter in there that will pick up everything, and that's the trick.
That is the trick.
Now, apparently, our Sanyo recorders are not filtered.
Right. The cheaper recorders are probably going to be...
They're going to have cheaper components.
Less filters.
Because they're not going for sound quality. They're just recording whatever it hears.
Yep.
So the Sanyo recorders seem to work. Because you get a lot of weird stuff on those.
Now, we have a Sony that we've almost never gotten anything on.
Never got anything on it.
It's a Sony. It may have Sony probably put a filter in there.
They might have put a filter in it. So that's where we're at now. Is what we're trying to figure out is we need to come up with equipment that can consistently record in these frequencies.
Right.
Below 20 to 0. And our hopes, dreams, and aspirations at some point in time is that we can find that frequency and be able to maybe be like dialing in a radio.
Almost like a Frank's box, have a device recording at somewhere in between 0 and 20 hertz, and have a speaker, have a microphone going into a box with a speaker coming out that's filtering out everything.
If we can hit that right frequency,
we may be able to have.
We may have an open communication channel
and have real-time conversations.
Absolutely, we don't know. This is our hypothesis that if we can do, this is what we're hoping we can do. And we're not scientists by any means, so we're putting this out there in case somebody out there is a scientist listening to the show, and they want to take this idea and try and figure something out.
Yeah, a little box with a microphone and a speaker,
right,
that you could sit there and dial in
frequencies. That would be cool.
Yeah, if you have some kind of electronic filter that filters out everything but like a 5 hertz range, so you can go 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15,
right,
15 to 20, and only listen to that range. You may be able to figure out where they're speaking at, and
right,
sit there, and as they're speaking, it's gonna come out of the speaker, and you're gonna be able to hear
I personally think
real time.
See what I think. I think they're going to come in just under us. I think they're going to come in. My theory is they're going to come in around 15.
Probably, I would say between 10 and 15.
They're going to come in around 15 because I think they're just outside of our hearing.
Yeah, they might be speaking because you're going to have, it's going to be a wave. So
Right.
the wave is not going to be right at 15. That would be a straight line. The wave is going to